Welcome to The Cynical Developer, the podcast that helps you to improve your development knowledge and career through explaining the latest and greatest in development technology and providing you with what you need to succeed as a developer. We've recently launched our Patreon page, which can be found at cynicaldeveloper.com/Patreon. If you aren't familiar with Patreon, it's an easy way for those who are interested in this show to help out by simply pledging a small amount each month in sponsorship. Now that could be as little as $5 a month, which is about £3.80, or as much as you like. You will enable us to dedicate more time creating more content to help you, including videos, more blog posts, and even more shows. So if you can, head over to cynicaldeveloper.com/Patreon and get involved. In this episode, I want to talk about being selfish as a developer. Writing software is a team game. I've even told you this. I've told you to work as a team. As you achieve more, what you achieve is also to a better standard. And this was back in episode 21. Now, I stand by what I said in that episode. You need to work together. When writing code, think about your teammates who will have to work with it and maintain it. Don't work in a silo. Don't keep all the knowledge to yourself. Otherwise, when you move on to a new job, suddenly all that knowledge can disappear, leaving your teammates up to their chins in the brown gooey stuff. But that's not really what we're going to talk about. I want to talk about actually being selfish in your team, being selfish as a developer, being selfish when it comes to your health, wealth and family, when you're looking for a job and when you're writing code as well, even though I have just said, write code as if you were writing it for a team. So we'll start with the writing the code, and this is more to do with the reviewing of the code rather than the actual writing. If you aren't doing code reviews, then you're not only letting your team down, your business down, but most importantly, you're letting yourself down. We've all worked in teams with cowboy coders, and some of us work in teams who've got cowboy coders in now. These are the guys and girls that they do the minimum to get the job done, and they blindly copy and paste code from online resources. They don't take the time to look at what it actually does. Does it really do what they need? Does it do more than what they need it to do? Is it doing something malicious? You just don't know because they've just copied it and not done anything with it, and it's a pain. And what happens to these developers? Who maintains that code? Those devs carry on making the same mistakes, causing the same problems, and you're the one that's left with your nuts in your hand, looking like a complete tool when your boss comes to you with a new change that should take 30 minutes, and then it takes you 3 weeks to get it done because their code's so terrible. Or you release software and you didn't know that there was this change in it by someone else on the team, and it breaks the live system when it goes out live. Now, it happens. So having code reviews is essential. It's not going to stop all of that, but it will definitely catch some of it. And when you're doing these reviews, you can ensure that everyone's adhering to the coding practices that you put in place in your team. And you do have coding practices, right? You also have a chance to find bad practice in code smells or issues where the developer hasn't really understood the criteria of what was needed. So what am I getting here with being selfish? Well, you need to be selfish enough to ensure the team's working together, working correctly. You don't want to have to work with substandard code, so be bullheaded about it. Tell them when they're doing something wrong, and be selfish enough to lose your cool with them. If they're repeat offenders, okay, maybe don't lose your cool with them, but be the person that suggests training, helps them out. Speak to your line manager about it. Say that you think that this person needs some extra help. Do what you can to help them to help you. And when it comes to health and wealth and family, your being selfish is paramount. I hated doing overtime when I was a perm dev. It meant less time with my friends and family, sometimes less sleep at night, and often that came with no extra pay for doing it. And when it did, it was hardly worth having the extra pay anyway, once Mr. Taxman had got his hands onto it. So don't spend your days doing overtime and missing out on life. What's the point of having some of this extra money if you have no time to spend it on the people that you care about? and you're making a rod for your own back anyway. Don't miss out on your children growing up because your boss needs your skills to get something done. Your kids need their parents more than that, and any good employer is going to understand that. Having to do overtime more often than not is because someone else or multiple other people just aren't doing their jobs properly. BAs maybe not supplying the right information, managers overpromising and squandering your time. I will actually be doing a mini-series soon on managing time and work and the time bandits and that are stealing away your extra work. But other things as well, like other devs making a pig's ear of a task, or terrible architecture, which means your project has to be released at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's all a very much manual process. I've definitely been there. And working to sort the people issues is a really big task, and it's really hard to fix. But then so is sorting out the software problems to a point. It can be easier, though, to sort out the software issues first before tackling those people problems. Looking at automatic deployment with automatic testing, it's a good place to start. And then looking at refactoring, remodularizing your code. But we'll cover that more in more detail when we do the Time Bandits mini-series. So be selfish and say no to overtime. If it becomes a regular thing, like I said, it becomes a rod for your own back. Don't take work home just to get it done, because you're setting a precedence that probably isn't maintainable by you, and your work colleagues have just come to expect that you'll pick up their slack, that you'll do that bit extra that they're not doing. Just don't do it. Be selfish. Be that guy or that girl that says no. If work isn't getting done in time, you need to look at the problems as to why it isn't getting done and tackle those problems. Don't make yourself ill by trying to be a hero and doing more than everybody else. It really isn't worth it. I've been there several times where I've tried to go above and beyond because the rest of the team are letting the side down, and I've made myself ill doing it. It's really not worth it. A final sort of point that I want to talk about with being selfish is when you have decided to look for a new job. Now, if you can't fix the culture of the business, then be selfish and move on. You're doing yourself more harm than good by staying there. And I know it can be a quite daunting thing, especially if you've been somewhere for quite a while to move on. But you're going to learn. You'll learn something new when you move on. You'll be better for it. And another thing I've dealt with on many occasions is people making the decision to leave. They get the job offer and then they come to me really scared, asking, what will the team think? These people, they think that they're letting the team down. They think that they're letting me down because they want to move on. And I tell them all the same things. And the same thing I'm going to tell you guys out there. Be damn selfish. You've decided to leave for a reason. It wasn't a whim. You've probably baked this over for a couple of months and you've decided to go. You've been off. You've had interviews. You've landed a new job. Go for it. Get out there. Get another job. Enjoy yourself. It's what it's about. Don't waste your time. If the team that you are in has any respect for you and for themselves, they'll wish you well. The company isn't going to die if you leave. Well, probably not anyway. And if the company started to struggle, they wouldn't think twice about letting you go. So do what you need to do. Make your choice, stick to it. Don't be swayed by the offer of more money or the possibility of things getting better in the future when it's just not going to happen. You may have been at the company for 4 years and you've been banging the drum about improving things and you've been trying to improve things by putting things in, new practices in place, and it's just not happening. So don't be swayed by that. Take the bull by the horns and do what you need to do to keep yourself happy, healthy and sane. And keeping food on the table is a damn good idea as well. So there are times for being a team player, but there's also times for being selfish. And try to understand and be aware of the different times that you need to be the one or the other. And don't be afraid of being selfish at times. And I think it's been a while since I've done a ranty episode like this, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you actually got something from it. Maybe you totally disagree with what I've said, so let me know. And I'm looking forward to exploring this Time Bandits episode. You know, I'm going to go through who the Time Bandits are. We've all got them. They're in all our offices, more or less all our offices, I should say. And I want to go over how to deal with them. So make sure you tune in for those episodes in the coming weeks. If you have something that you'd like to talk to me about, give me a shout. But until next time, thanks for listening to The Cynical Developer. I'm James Stoddart, and this was Putting Yourself First. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, then drop us an email, a tweet, or leave a comment on the website where you can find all the resource links, show notes for each episode. And if you enjoy this episode, please leave a review on your favourite podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is, and help The Cynical Developer to reach more developers around the globe.